Sophie Rain, 20 years old, devout Christian virgin.
God bless her.
Earned $43 million in OnlyFans in less than 1 year without showing so much as a side nipple. Now, there's a lot of controversy going on right now. People saying that she's not really a virgin. She's not really Christian. Did she really earn this much money? You go to the next slide. Let's see. It's a repeat. Here's a look.
Well, let's see.
Some people are. Kelly was saying that she thinks that she's faking it.
I don't know, dude. She's
Faking
19,
what?
Faking the
the
booty.
goods.
Who cares? That's the argument.
No, but I don't.
Yeah.
No, but hold on.
To play?
Wait, bro, what do you want to play? The video?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's play this video, and I want to know what the chat thinks. I don't know if this is a.
Well, I'm gonna go around and see if you guys agree.
Go
with
ahead,
Kelly.
play this.
What do you mean? She's AI?
No, she's real.
Kelly said she has a fake butt.
She's 19.
Oh.
No, that's real.
That's,
Yeah, no.
that's real. I also feel real creepy. I gotta admit, when you said 19, I'm like, ooh,
20.
No, she's
that
20
feels
now.
too young for
She's
me.
20. She's 20.
Oh.
It's
There's
like
a two.
Oh,
it's
that
like
doesn't- that does not
proportionate
make it
with
much
her
better.
thighs.
Yeah,
Well,
no, I don't.
But
think,
she's out of the teens, right? 19 is creepy. 20, that's fine. She's not a teenager.
Yeah, I hate the word teen, and
Yeah.
I'd be damned. But no, I think it's real. But yeah, Brandon, keep going because I want to comment.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was wondering what all the hype was about, and
I bet you were.
it makes a ton of sense, and I
Downloaded OnlyFans.
I went on and did market research for the segment.
Wow, was this your
He was
first
naked
time
in his
on that
bedroom.
application?
It
Really?
really is. Yeah.
I love when
Really?
Valuetainment's going to look at the itemized bill and go, Brandon has an OnlyFans
It's
subscription
subscription.
charged to his company card.
Yeah.
And Brandon goes,
Brandon-
"Here's market research."
Brandon-
Yeah, I labeled it as market research.
Brandon, send me your login.
It was for a case study.
yeah, exactly.
But it's such a stupid thing, though. I mean, I get why it happened. I'm going to explain in a second why this makes so much sense that this girl popped off out of everybody. But yeah, it's such a weird concept. Like, it's literally just like an Instagram behind the paywall with like you could like literally tip on any picture, and I'm like, wow, dude's really like.
What the hell is wrong with
It's like $5 like for a month, but then you could like just pay for private sessions and all that shit. I'm sure a lot of guys do that.
Well, you know,
but-
it's a good reminder for women out there that if you have an Instagram page that is mostly just pictures of you in like spandex and bikinis,
And just
you
drive
run a
with your
free
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans and you're a bad marketer.
yeah.
Yeah.
When you could be making $43 million a year.
Yeah, but when it comes to
So
Christian,
true.
when you claim that you're a Christian, I mean, there's no different levels of Christianity. Either you're a Christian. Or
That actually kind of
Hear-
reminds me
hear
of
me
this
out,
girl
though.
in my high school who said she was only, doing other activities so she could maintain her virgin status, and it's like
I know.
that doesn't.
I
that doesn't
100%.
count.
Rob, I want to ask you too, and Brendan. I want to come obviously to you. I knew a girl in high school that was a virgin, Amy, virgin here, but the other one, it was.
Your poop hole is not a loophole, kids.
Yeah, we had a girl. We had a girl in our school.
Hey-o!
We had a girl in our school. Her name was Dana, and she was called Danel because that's what she was known for. I swear to God, she was known for doing that, but she was maintaining the other side of her body
for God.
for her husband
Wow.
when they got married.
That's a considerate, wholesome Christian woman. Brandon, go ahead.
That is a big epidemic that's happening. So anyway, I think that this is a good thing because she's like kind of like a role model and shows that there's value to preserving yourself and like withholding certain things because there's not a single naked picture of her out there, and I think that like leaves people naturally wanting more because there's like nothing really great about you go on there and then like see everything right away. It's like I think part of the appeal and part of like the mass success was that she didn't show everything and that there's like some element of secrecy.
So okay, here's my question though. There's nothing of her, and Amy, I want to ask you. There's nothing of her out there naked, but what about these private messages between these guys? And Brandon, am I correct that one guy spent $4.7 million dollars? Who the hell was this?
I didn't find out who this was. I think it's an anonymous person, but yeah, one person did spend $4.7 million.
In 1 year.
Yeah.
Wait. $4.7 million. She's not showing anything. She's not. Well, here's my question. And Amy, again, I'm going to come to you because I want to know what from a female take. I don't know the OnlyFans model, like the model of the business. If you're sending videos and naked and this and that, can that person keep them? How does that work? Can you download them to your phone?
Yeah, you could screenshot it, yeah.
Oh, okay. Amy, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, just because it's behind a paywall doesn't mean that it's private. People will screenshot, they will screen record. That stuff's going to be on the internet for life. But for this girl in particular, I think even if you're not posting like naked photos per se, it's still the association. Like regardless, you're still going to have a reputation that follows you. And to your point, Vinny, I mean, you said she charges $5 for a person
To sign up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, do the math on that. How many people would need to be subscribed for her to make $43 million in a year? More than likely, that's the marketing to lure people in, and then they ask for private stuff in the DMs.
Right.
And, they make special requests and all types of weird stuff, I mean, I just don't see how a $5 subscription can equate to 43 million. Like, literally, is anyone good at math that can tell me how many
I'm checking
people
right now. Keep
would
going.
need to be subscribed in
Where's
you
she
hit
make her
it.
money
It's,
then?
Yeah,
it's
the private stuff.
It's the DMs and the chats and videos and stuff. I'm sure, but it's weird. The porn industry has really been like this point of fixation for the PBD podcast in the last like 3-4 months. We've had multiple people come on to talk about it, and every single one of them seems to be like, Pornhub is terrible because they allow trafficking videos and videos of actual rape and abuse on there. It's terrible. But when it gets over to OnlyFans, they're like, well, we're not talking about that right now because OnlyFans, it's all privatized and the women upload it themselves. OnlyFans is just as bad. It's just as abusive and it's just as terrible. All across Europe.
Just as bad?
Yes.
I think it could be
because
worse.
They have found multiple child accounts on OnlyFans in various European countries of probes of, girls who are basically trafficked into going on OnlyFans and pretending to be adult women or deliberately advertising themselves as underage women. They found people who have accounts where a kid has stolen his parents' credit card to get on there and he's like 13.
And not only that, but also it's the aspect of forming parasocial relationships with these women because they actually have access to them to the point where they're able to DM them. And these women have financial incentive to be able to help them believe the fantasy. And so they're saying things that make them believe like, this is my girlfriend. And I've actually done a story on this. Like, there was one man who became obsessed with this OnlyFans model, ended up breaking into her house, murdering her, and literally writing all over the wall in lipstick and blood, like, I thought she loved me. She made me believe that she loved me. Like, all of this stuff.
To say nothing of various stories, I've heard dozens of accounts of this across, the internet of people testifying about it, of girls who have accounts and they have, one super fan who always wants, real edgy content and, sends them the most deranged messages and they're engaging with them. They find out, oh, it's my dad, it's my uncle, it's my stepdad in the next room messaging me because, I'll send a message back and suddenly his phone dings and they find out it is family members creeping on their accounts. And that's not to say that's any worse than what happens on Pornhub, but it's no better. And it's the same people involved. The guy who created, or I don't know if he created it, but he's the current owner of it, is this weird Jewish Ukrainian guy named Leonid Radvinsky. A couple years ago, he made something like $5 billion off of OnlyFans somehow. Nobody can really figure out where this dude came from. He suddenly just popped up on the scene a few years ago, marketed OnlyFans as this platform that is, open to nudity, but it's definitely not only for sex streaming, right? It's just a content creator platform that somehow is only used by internet prostitutes. But he made all this money and was also a mega donor to the Democratic Party.
Weird.
So,
Wow.
It's funny that
make
you
of that what
mentioned
you will.
that these guys have direct access to the women, but oftentimes they're not even actually corresponding with the women. There was a girl, I'm not going to get into specifics, but there was a woman that came and worked at this company very early on. You may remember her, Vinny. She was the one that could not park normally. Do you remember? Every time she'd pull into the parking lot, it drove me nuts. But I knew she was mentally unhinged because she'd pull in and she'd park like this in the parking spots. It was crazy. She did not last long here, but she left here. And one of the people that was working here at the time was a graphic designer. He left working here around the same time. And what she hired him to do was to run her OnlyFans account. And what that meant was she would go on and she would contact, or she would meet these guys would subscribe. But then when it came to the interactions, these interactions were all managed by the dude. So these guys are thinking that they're communicating with this girl. We'll call her Ellen. They would think that they're communicating with Ellen, but they were really communicating with Nelson. Nelson was the guy that was sending the messages on behalf of Ellen. So these guys are spending thousands of dollars thinking that they're communicating with Helen, and they're really communicating with some coked out frat dude that lives down in Nelson that lives in Miami Beach. So and these people are spending tens of thousands of dollars on these people. So it's like, imagine, like, I understand the fixation. You start to have a conversation with somebody, you start that they pay attention to you. A lot of these guys are lonely, so these guys are like, oh my God, this person's paying attention to me. Then imagine the anger that you feel when you find out, if you find out that
It's
the
not
person that you're
them.
communicating with isn't the woman. And all these emotions that you thought you've established with somebody over these, thousands of dollars that you spent are meaningless because it's some dude and not the chick that you actually thought you were communicating.
They're kind of retarded for doing that, though, to be honest. Like, the only thing that I think that is bad about any of this is what Connor said, is the notion that there might be kids on this or there might be people being trafficked and all that. But if you're stupid enough to spend thousands of dollars and to get hooked on this and to use your life savings on it, then that's survival of the fittest. And I think that it's not the worst thing ever that people that are totally poor and poverty-stricken, maybe in a different country, have a way to get their way out of poverty. Like,
But it's
this
scamming.
girl's on food stamps.
Yeah, it's like a car. It's like car insurance. You're paying all this money. What the fuck are you getting?
The car
Nothing.
insurance of vagina.
It's how's it any different than like WWE though? Like, that's fake.
Yeah, but that's scripted entertainment that people know is scripted and fake. There are some weirdos out there that still think it's real, but most people know wrestling's fake. Look, if the guys don't find out about it, I don't have a problem with it, because if they're feeling fulfilled for the money that they're spending, then fine, right? Like, they're still feeling that good, fulfilled feeling. But if those guys found out that they were sharing intimate details with somebody who wasn't the person they meant to share those
Nelson?
intimate details with, yeah. If you're just talking to Nelson, you're going to lose your mind over that. And then you're going to want a refund. Do they get a refund if the girls end up being charlatans and screwing them out of money?
What do they expect though? I mean, like, there's 20,000 other dudes probably competing for one chick on there. Like, all they really expect that this one girl's DMing all of them back and having this intimate relationship.
I'm a guy that I've followed. I didn't know. I didn't
means you
know
know.
that your Twitter likes were public knowledge for a very, very long time. I had no idea other people could see that. And so my buddy one time, he was helping me set up my Twitter account to get it verified. And he's like, man, you certainly have a type. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I'm going through your Twitter likes. I'm like, well, how can you do that? And he's like, it's public knowledge. You didn't know that? And I'm like, no. And he's like, you have something for trailer trash girls with tattoos and dark hair.
Yes,
I was like,
Rob.
because every cam girl that I follow on Twitter, I'd see that and I go, oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. But when you actually find out that other people can see that information, it's so embarrassing to you. Like, there was a part where we can laugh about it, and I'm sharing it now because I can. But at the time, I'm like, oh, Drew,
no.
I didn't mean to do that. And he's like, you didn't mean to do it 1,200 times. How many times are you gonna like a girl's post?
Wow.
So look, internet pornography is something that exists. It's an industry. We're never gonna get rid of it. I think the best way to try, and it sounds shitty because I am for deregulation on a lot of things, but I think this is the one sector that needs more regulation because it does. We've had these people on who talk about people being sex trafficked for these
100% with
companies.
that.
We need to put an end to that. But at the same time, you're never going to eradicate porn forever. I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't, but you're never going to. It's always going to exist. I think the best way at this point is to try and regulate it so we can remove the crimes that are happening within that industry.
Yeah, absolutely. From an ID standpoint and verification, yeah, we 100% we should do everything possible to eradicate any possibility of somebody being on there against their will or underage. But when idiots are going to be idiots, I don't have sympathy for that.
And you ask
from
what's
the guy's standpoint.
what's the difference between this and WWE? It's also a question of merit in that WWE is like entertainment for sports. This is explicitly sexual content in exchange for money. And pornography and internet prostitution, which is what this is. I hate to break it to you, but if you do sexual things in exchange for money, that's prostitution, regardless of whether you're doing it in front of a camera or in a Motel 6 off the highway.
Yeah.
There's a different level of moral value to it that's like you can't equate that to entertainment, even if you know it's fake. But at the same time, people like Sophie Rain here, look at all the headlines. The reason we're talking about it is because there were so many headlines saying, this girl made $43 million.
I think they're more upset that she was saying she was a devout Christian.
Yeah, I mean, that part sucks, and I'm sure we can touch on that later, but I don't believe that's authentic. Because when you look at, it's the top 1% of earners on OnlyFans who are like, oh, I just bought a mansion and I didn't even have to take my top off. And, they always come out there. But most of the women who are on OnlyFans, they're making like $100 a month,
Yeah.
200.
There is a chart out there that shows the actual average. I don't know if we can find it, but there is a chart out there that shows the actual average because you'll see the story. There was a girl that when I was doing podcasting post-pandemic for myself, I interviewed her on my podcast. She was a former preacher that got into OnlyFans and started making hundreds of thousands, then millions of dollars a year. You look at the Cash Me Outside girl, Danielle Brigolette or whatever her name is.
Brigolone.
That girl makes $50 million in 1 year. But those are the anomalies. The average girls that are on these websites are making maybe $1,000 a month if they're lucky.
Well,
If your goal is to get as many women as possible involved in this, because people like Leonid Radvinsky are raking in money hand over fist by doing this, you want to write the headlines about, oh, this woman got herself out of poverty, this woman bought a mansion, this woman's putting her children through college. Because then you get this massive crop of women who are making basically nothing in exchange for prostituting themselves while you rake in all the money on it.
There's a referral program. So these women are incentivized to talk about how much money they're making. That way they can sign up other women and then make a percentage of what these women are making.
Oh,
it's
wow.
literally like a porn pyramid scheme.
Wow.
Also, the top 1% of earners on OnlyFans make $2,500 per month. The top 1%.
Wow.
So when they have in their bio top 1% of OnlyFans, they're sucking and fucking for $3,000. Literally.
That's so fun. And Amy, and
Wow.
to your point, this is it. In 2000, can you put this up? In 2023, the average earnings for OnlyFans creators were nearly $1,300 per creator. However, earnings can vary widely, with some creators making millions of dollars per year.
So that was per year or per month? Because it sounds like that's
That'll be per year. Yeah, that's per year. So
That's
the
nothing.
top 1% made $2,500 per month.
Imagine meeting a girl. Brandon, you want to run for office, right? You
Yes.
want to be president in 2030?
36.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine meeting a girl, you fall in love with her, you love her, but then she's like, hey, listen, a long time ago, I was on OnlyFans. That lives on forever on the internet. You're never going to scrape that and get rid of it. Look at the Lana Rhodes girl that wants all of her porn removed from the internet. You can't have that. Perverts have downloaded that, and they'll re-upload it for other perverts to share. Imagine these girls are sacrificing their potential futures, not just with men, but also with companies. Imagine being a company and hiring these women and then finding out that they had an OnlyFans account at one point. For what, $1,300? For $1,300, you're sacrificing your entire future to show your labias and your tits? That's crazy.
What about your
It's
daughter?
a very short career pipeline as well. Your sexual market value is really only super, people will pay a lot of money for that up to a certain age. You pretty much are forced into retirement as you start to get into your 30s and 40s. At that point, you're going to have to re-enter the real world. And what skill sets do you have to show? What resumes do you have to show an actual employer?
I'm really good at sales. What'd you sell? My panties. Perverts online from Facebook Marketplace.
We have 2 minutes left. I have to say this. Well, two things. One, could you imagine one day you find out your daughter, guys, you guys more than us because you guys have kids, your daughter, dude, imagine your friend goes, yo, dude, I'm sorry. Your friend goes, I was just, surfing the web and I saw her there. I can only imagine that.
If my daughter
Send her
ends
to
up on
nun school.
OnlyFans, there is a very realistic chance I would step in front of a bus immediately.
Knowing you, that's the only, I
I don't even say that to be dramatic. I'm saying I would consider myself such an abysmal failure as a father, as a human being, as a follower of Christ, that if my daughter moved into OnlyFans, I don't know if I'd be able to see a way back from that for myself, because that my only job now is to be a father. I can do all this other stuff. I can be a podcaster. I can be a writer, whatever. But having had a child, my primary job is now being a father. And if I fail at that, what purpose do I have left after that?
Well, and I was going to say, that's the only way that, knowing you for as long as I've known you, the only way that your child would end up in that situation was if you're not involved in that child's life. And that's what I feel like we've talked about this a lot on Pat's podcast, and we've talked about it here, the breakdown of the traditional American family, and also fatherlessness in homes as an epidemic across this country. That's why you're seeing these things. People that come from good homes, people that have good father figures in their lives, good mother figures, a good family unit, they don't get in a porno. It's the people that are broken, and the reason why they're broken, they come from a broken home, a broken family, a broken system that never helped them. And that's how they end up showing their cooch for money on the internet, is because they didn't have a father figure that cared.
Yep, and just really fast, this is not funny. Did I tell you the story, Rob, once? It's before OnlyFans, I had a situation where I'm doing security at a bar, daytime. It's everybody knew me, but I was jacked. And it's packed now. Now the sun's going down and it's packed. And this girl kind of goes up to me, because once you leave this bar, you can't come back in. And she goes, excuse me, do you mind if I just run out, just really 2 minutes, I'll come right back? I was like, yeah. I go, just go, hurry up. And she's a little eager. She's like, thank you so much, I love you. She leaves, her friend's standing there. I'm like, hey, you could go out there with her. I'm not going to be that guy. Just, we don't want to get guys in and out smoking. She goes, no, she's just, I go, what's up? She goes, you know what she's doing? I go, what? Now she's like, some guy that she met on Craigslist is showing up to buy her used underwear. Guys, this is Amy. Used underwear that she wore for like 2 days. And I go, how much? She's like, oh, $300. I go, shut the hell up. 2 minutes later, her friend runs in. I go, excuse me. No, whatever. I'm letting you leave. I'll let you come back in. Did you just sell your drawers to somebody for $300? And she goes, yeah. I go, show me the cash. She shows me $300. She gives me 20. She's like, thank you so much. And then, I'm no joke, as I turn and look, there's a guy driving by the bar like,
Oh my God!
that's OnlyFans in real life. And those guys are out there.
So on a related note, we have a new line of used Angry Patriot underwear available at vtmerch.com.
She told me too. She goes, you should do that with your underwear. She's like, work security. Guys, you know, big gay guys would love these underwear.
So can I tell you a quick? It'll be under 30 seconds. I used to, when I had my own radio show at night in Fort Myers, I used to wear flip flops, and I would get made fun of all the time on the radio show before us because I have big caveman feet. I got wide feet, but I love flip flops. And in radio, nobody sees you, so I could wear flip flops and sweatpants and go in and do my shift. So the afternoon guys would make fun of how big my feet were. And then one night I got an email through the radio station email of somebody requesting photos of my feet. So I read it on the air. I thought it was a joke. And I'm like, should I do this? I'll let the audience decide. The callers called in. They said you should do it and try it out. So I started sending this person photos of my feet. I can only assume it was a guy. We never established that. Then the person would send me $100. So it was cool. It was like 10 photos of my feet for $100. So I did it twice. I made $200. But on the third one, what you talked about earlier, it starts to get more extreme. Then he was like, he or she, I gotta assume it was a guy, was like, hey, could you take a photo of you smelling your feet? And I'm like, I don't know if I'm that flexible, but I tried. So I did that. Then the next one was, hey, can you tie your feet up and take a photo of your feet tied up?
Oh
I'm like,
my God.
all right, this is getting weird. And then the final request.
You did it.
Put a hot dog between your big toe.
Yes, I did do it
Stand
because
up
the final
something.
request where I drew the line was, he goes, can you put your feet in your mouth and take photos of it? I'm like, that is too weird. But that's the kind of weirdos that are out there. So be careful, people on the internet.
Okay. All right, guys.
Can I give you the origin story of why Sophie Rain even started in OnlyFans to begin
Why'd
with?
she start?
Okay, this is the most asinine thing I've ever heard in my life. It was Halloween, and her friend did something. They bought Spider-Man costumes that were spandex and did a little TikTok dance, okay? Then, like, a couple weeks later, an actual OnlyFans porn star that looked kind of like her did, like, a explicit Spider-Man video with the same suit on. People thought it was her.
Oh, wow.
They wouldn't leave her alone because they thought it was her. And she goes, well, I can capitalize off this.
Wow.
And then she started OnlyFans.
Wow.
You didn't get naked to do it. So, I mean, that's capitalism right there.
No,
You saw a
100%,
hole
which
in the
I'm
market,
cool with.
and then you showed your hole to
But $43
$43
million divided by $5 is 8,600,000 photos. I don't believe it. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.